Today, I'm delighted to be joined by the inspiring Sri Lankan Australian entrepreneur and chef Gayan Peiris, the owner of Many Little Restaurant located in beautiful Red Hill, Victoria. Gayan has earned a reputation for showcasing authentic Sri Lankan flavors in contemporary fine dining setting. And his journey is one of passion, resilience, and innovation. So today we'll have a bit of a chat with Gayan and explore his story, his love for Sri Lankan cuisine, and the vision behind Many Little and other ventures in mind. Gayan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let me begin by asking you, every success story has a beginning.
Yeah.
So take us back to your childhood in Sri Lanka and how did you develop this passion for food in the first place?
Yeah. So I grew up in Kandy, in the central hills of Sri Lanka, a village about 80 km away from Kandy city. And my parents are predominantly rice farmers. And I grew up in a big family as well, having 8 siblings. And then mom and dad being farmers. So it's always been a massive thing, the cooking in our household. Because there's a lot of mouths to feed, obviously. And then our friends come over, or people working the farm, they all come and have their lunches with us. So the cooking is like it's been a big thing, and I got that little exposure since since the very beginning. Like mom would say, like, can you help me with this? Can you bring this for me? And the Sri Lankan farming families, they always have that little backyard patch. You have your little chilies or the tomatoes or the mandarin stuff like the roticola and all. So you always have to go and grab them. She laughs, okay, she's cooking in the middle. Can you go and grab this for me? And so I got that little exposure, and that kind of turned into a passion as I grew up. I moved to Kandy for my high school later on, but that little patch of my life was what the biggest inspiration to become who I am today.
The visual was beautiful. You took me back with the little chilies and nalums and all that. So that's beautiful. That's so good. Yeah. So you moved into Australia and eventually became the owner of Many Little Restaurant. Tell us, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced along your journey?
Yeah, I think the Many Little was, like I said, it's not so it wasn't a bad thing. I came here about 8 years ago. It used to be a bistro serving modern Australian food, and then the COVID happened. Like I said, we have as Sri Lankans, whenever a chaotic situation happens, we always looking to find the opportunities as well. So we started doing curry packs, and there was a lot of demand, and then locals rallied around us. I need to mention that. And then sort of we thought, okay, there's demand for it, let's do Sri Lankan food. But one of the biggest challenges when you're running a Sri Lankan restaurant, obviously you need to have a restaurant that is full all the time. Because we are in an area that the clientele is not exposed to Sri Lankan food as much. That was one of the challenges. But then again, like I said, it always overcomes with the access to the great producers, the farmers around here, and then the winemakers. They've been behind with me for last 8 years, and that made things much easier. To get here.
Yeah, the support has been great. So that's good. Gayan, I know you will agree with me when I say that Sri Lankan food is getting this international recognition that it deserves now.
Yeah.
You can see that happening.
Yeah.
Tell us, what is it so unique about Sri Lankan food?
Yeah, I think Sri Lankan food it's a generational thing. It's the cooking cooking history and the wealth of knowledge that we collected throughout generations. Um, it's not a recipe-driven cuisine, but it does have that, like sense of soul, sense of heart. This is being transferred from generation to generation. Like my mom learned her cooking from her mom, and she probably have learned from her mom. It's like that, and that's what sort of our cuisine is. And being a centralized location in Indian Ocean, we had that exposure throughout the history to all the traders who go from west to east, or the other kind of travelers, and they all somehow left their footprint in our cuisine, whether it's Arabs or the Malays or Portuguese, English, Dutch. You see little bits and pieces of them in our cuisine as well. And we are known to change things and then make it our own.
Yeah.
So that's one of the interesting things. And also the way we treat our cuisine, especially the ingredients such as the veggies. The vegetables are the main part in our cuisine. We've been known for the other stuff like the pan rolls or the hoppers, but one thing that we haven't had that exposure much is how we treat our vegetables and different preparations, the techniques. Like it's sort of like always in the level of any other international cuisine that the world is known for. So that's the one thing if I have to tell about our cuisine.
100% on you with
Yeah.
that, the vegetables. When I dined in here,
Yeah.
that was last month, and
Yeah.
the vegetables were amazing prepared.
Yeah.
I could not believe some of the vegetables
Yeah.
that the way I used to eat it, and I've seen. So it's definitely
Yeah.
we do that. So tell us, what's next for Gayan Peiris?
Right. I got a big news, Colin. So I'm coming to the city. We are planning to opening a brand new restaurant on Chapel Street towards the Windsor end. It's going to call Agni Eatery Bar. You will see me, and you will see little bits and pieces of many little, but it will be it will have its own concept as well. It's a fire-centric Sri Lankan cooking, very much sort of the traditions that we passed from generation to generation, and we try to replicate that in a sort of high-end restaurant setup.
Okay.
So that is the most exciting news for this year.
That is actually big news. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to receive. So when are you hoping to open it? Will it be open to the public?
So now the fit up is on its sort of like last phase. We are aiming to open the doors to public by mid-August.
Okay.
But that is the plan. We are working hard just to make it as quick as we can. So hopefully by mid-August I can have you there also. Yeah.
100%. That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
And the name is again?
Agni. It's called Agni Eatery Bar. So AGNII.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great news, guys. That's great news. So, one last question to wrap up our little chat.
Yeah.
So when people leave Many Little,
Yeah.
tasting your amazing food, what kind of memory or feeling you want them to take home with them?
Yeah. So Many Little, it's just that old English saying, like many little makes a miracle. So we trying to do all these little things, bits and pieces right, to give you a memory that lasts forever with you. So it's whether it's the food or the service or the drinks that you have. Yes, they are matter, but at the end, how you see this overall experience. Like you will come here with your bunch of friends or the relatives, and years later, like that moment, remember like you were wearing this dress and we had really good time there. That's what we need to hear. That memories that you formed of. That's what we are trying to achieve here in
Amazing. Greg, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your inspiring story. We wish you all the very best, continued success with Many Little, and all the best for Agni that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
And it's been lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. Likewise. And again, thanks for coming and great to sit down with you.
Yeah.
And have
Thank you.
Thank you.